Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Tower clear.
We got a roll program.
Welcome, friends and pioneers of the independent networks. I'm your host, Ricky Blues. This is your co-host, Tim Walker. And this week, Tim, we are continuing our look at our very special guest, Doug Delicious.
That's me.
Doug, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. It's good to be here again, and I enjoy hanging out with you guys.
Those big overseas tours promoted by Dick Karakoff occurred somewhere around the time frame between 1989, 1990, 1991. How does that compare to when you started in wrestling school?
I started in 1992, and because I believe I had my first match, it was in February, and it was at the Boonesboro Arena.
Ah, in Boonesboro at the auction house.
At the old auction house, yes, sir.
Wow, that building has seen so much good wrestling. But the thing that always worried me about that building was the one side of the ring that sat over the big staircase,
Yep.
where if you would fall out of that side of the ring, you'd probably fall 3 stories down to the floor. There's one side of the ring was exposed to an open staircase, and I always was worried if the ropes broke or someone went flying out that side of the ring, there was no place to go but down.
Yeah, no place to go but down either. And actually, it almost happened one night with Marty Jannetty versus a Flamingo Kid. We all know it turned out to be Raven later. So.
Right.
Wow. That would have been a nasty fall if somebody would have taken that.
Very nasty.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was in the ring, I probably wouldn't even want to run off that side of the ropes.
No.
It just was that scary.
Yeah, I always stayed away from that side of the ring.
But what a neat venue, though. It was an auction house for livestock and that sort of thing, and it had seats all around the 3 sides of the ring, and then it dropped down to the lower floors. That must have been hard to bring a ring up to the top floor there, too.
Oh, yeah. It was a pain in the butt because, of course, you know, when you're paying your dues, you're setting up the ring and stuff like that. But it was always a good building because it had that Coliseum effect, much like the Texas or the Winchester Livestock Exchange in Winchester. It's basically set up almost the same.
Mm-hmm. So those would have been put on. That was Dick putting those on in NWL at that time?
Yes.
All right. Was Dick doing anything with South Atlantic Pro? Was Neil over in South Atlantic Pro? Were they running at that? And did you have anything to do with that, like that early part of South Atlantic Pro?
Well, what happened with South Atlantic, they were just departing from South Atlantic.
Okay.
And they came up here, and Neil ended up beating Helmet Hustler.
That's right.
For the title, and then it turned into the NWL title.
Then it became the NWL title. So you paying your dues along the way, being trained at the NWL. What was their school actually called? What did Neil actually call that school?
It was the Neil Superior Pro Wrestling School.
And you stayed there for, was it 6 months your training?
Oh yeah, we were there. Well, a total I was there for about 3 years, but I mean, as far as our training, a good solid 6, 7, 8 months.
All right. So you, Shane Shadows, and who else would have been in your class?
Honestly, I can't really remember their names because a lot of them, you know, like most guys that get into professional wrestling, they last for about maybe 10 months to a year, and then they're gone. You don't ever see them again. But mainly it was, you know, me and Shane that hung in there. I mean, we worked out together all the time. I mean, all the time. We were always the first ones there, the last ones to leave, and you know, we were wrestling. I guarantee you, me and him were probably wrestling 10 matches a night. And you know, Neil back then, Neil was very hands-on at the time,
Right.
and he did have some help. He had a Rick Needy, who was Ricky Tango.
Rick Tango. Yep.
He spent a lot of one-on-one time with us, and was really a good mentor. And Doug Stahl would come down once in a while and train with us, and just working with those guys was really fun. And there's so much knowledge there too. And they came down, put us through drills, and it was good hands-on experience. It was just basics.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did real well for yourself because you continue to develop. And when you develop, you get the opportunity to move around and go different places and work with different people. It's all part of the learning process. Sure. You've spent a good career doing exactly that. Talk a little bit about how you were able to move and some of the places that you went, some of the people that you were able to work with. Because, Doug, you got a great story when it comes to that.
Well, I mean, I think, too, and this is what I tell, like, a lot of young guys and a lot of guys that are in the business, and they're like, well, what can I do to get better? And I was like, well, you need to quit working with the same guys. You have to get out. You have to leave your promotion. You have to get out of that comfort zone, and you have to learn to work with everybody. Everybody has a different style. Everybody has a different, everybody has a different way, the way they run their promotion. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when you get out there, you just got to get out there and, it's kind of like, I remember the first time we left the NWL and we went down and worked for MEWF, me and Shane did. And we went down there and we had this, it was an okay match, but, there was a couple things that, just went wrong. But, we were told by some of the boys in the back, you'll never be back again. And, it was just one of those things, it didn't work out. But then again, you know what you do? You just, you put your head down, you keep on going. And, and luckily with being with Neil, when he would be working somewhere, he would take us with him, which led to us going to up to work for the Savoldis at IWCCW in Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Right.
I remember that, where they did their big TV tapings.
Exactly.
Every month.
At the old field house.
For the syndicated television show, yes.
Yep.
So where do you go from there?
Well, I mean, up at IWCCW, it was basically a learning experience. Because like I say, I mean, I might be one of the big guys in the locker room. But as we know, I mean, we're right on the tail end of where, professional wrestling, the ins and outs and all the secrets is still taboo.
Right.
It was still, you have to pay your dues if you want to be part of the club. And, when you got up there, it was a learning experience. I mean, you just sat there and you just shut up or you get yelled at. Mm-hmm. And, it was like you didn't talk to, you didn't talk to anybody. It was basically, this is who you're working, and you'll see them out in the ring. There was no mixture. There was no mixture with the locker rooms or anything. Like
Walk and talk was still
very old school.
Yep.
Very old school, and plus, it was a cast of characters. It was overwhelming, especially being a 21-year-old kid who, basically did well in high school with football and did okay in college, and then you get up there and you think you're all that, and then you're in a locker room with Greg Valentine and Medusa, Damian Demento, Tony Atlas, the Honky Tonk Man, Rick Rude came in later, Firebreaker Chip, Pez Watley, Tommy Dreamer, Taz when he was the Tasmaniac, and it's very overwhelming to be in such that environment. And then just to see how the process works, that was our first real experience with TV too, because we didn't know anything about TV. We just we practiced it some down at the wrestling school, just learning where the hard cams were and stuff. But not till you're actually out there. I mean, it's the way this business is. Not till you're not really learning anything until you're actually out there doing it and doing it consistently.
So, Doug, some of the most important things that are happening is you're gaining all kind of exposure and experience. And like you say, that's the most important thing. Keeping your eyes open, right? Your ears open, and your mouth shut, and learning so much. So eventually, as this is still taking place, this whole learning experience, you get noticed, and somebody gives you an opportunity.
Correct.
And there's one particular person who, I don't want to say pulled you to the side, but gave you that ability to, here's a platform for you. I want to put you on a platform. I want you to run with it. I want you to talk a little bit about those days, and we're actually referencing the MCW days.
Yes.
And we're referencing Dan McDevitt. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really odd. I mean, I hadn't seen Danny in probably about 6-7 years, and the last time I saw him was at a NWL show. It was in Kaiser, West Virginia, when Dick would run those huge shows in Kaiser, which were absolutely super. Those were like our WrestleManias. We couldn't wait for Kaiser to come up on the schedule, and ran into him. Back then, he was working with Axel a lot, because Axel, training.
Right.
But I hadn't seen him for 6 years. And then a local promoter here, he was running ATCW, and I got a hold of him. I was like, hey, I'm from the area. I'm here. Can I work your show? And he was like, well, sure. And I started working the shows, and then, there and behold, there's Danny, Corporal Punishment, who I hadn't seen in like 6-7 years. And that's how me and him ended up working that night. And then Danny pulled me aside after and was like, hey, I'm running Maryland Championship Wrestling. How would you like to come down and work for me? And I thought it was great. I was like, sure, I'll be down. Whenever I first started coming down there, I mean, it was like immediately right out of the gate. I remember, I don't know specifically in this order, but I remember my first weekend, we had 2 shows back-to-back, Friday and a Saturday. And I think that Friday I was working on Julio De Niro, and everybody knows me and Julio. We've been friends for over 20 years. He's one of my closest friends. I love that guy. And but I was working him right out of the gate, and everybody knows Julio's style. He's go go go.
Right.
And but that was the first night out, and I wanted to go out and make a good impression. Match went pretty well. There were some things in it that I didn't like, but you know what? So what? You move on to the next one.
Right.
The action just continues to be hot and heavy here on MCW Rage TV. A supermodel wannabe, Doug Delicious, is on his way to the ring to take on the former Rage TV champion, the hot commodity Julio De Niro, who as always will have Alexis Lurie with him. But joining me right now is my on-again, off-again commentary partner, Earl the Pearl. Earl, what do you got to say for yourself about that last match? You almost cheated Keenan Creed out of the Cruiserweight Championship.
I don't have anything to say about that last match but this. Keenan Creed is the biggest cheater in the history of Maryland Championship Wrestling. Randall Rich had him right where he wanted him, and Keenan Creed pulled the tights and got the victory.
That's not how I saw it, but what I see right now is the hot commodity on the way to the ring. And like I said, as always, he's got the hot Alexis Lurie with him.
I can't disagree with you there. Alexis Lurie is very nice to look at. She's easy on the eyes, but so is Julio De Niro.
If I can steal a phrase, business always picks up when Alexis Lurie's at ringside.
That's right. Look at Julio De Niro, always in tremendous shape.
Let's go to Steve Venturella. Doug Delicious not very popular here on Rage TV. The man from Treasure Island's got a little bit to prove here, as he's been on a little bit of a losing slide since dropping the Rage TV Championship to the man that Doug Delicious wants to join, the supermodel, Marquise Jordan.
Yeah, he does want to be a supermodel, but I think Doug Delicious also has a lot to prove at tonight's match because his record hasn't exactly been perfect.
Well, speaking of the supermodel Marquise Jordan, he's got his shot at regaining the Rage TV Championship later tonight on Rage TV. And joining me for commentary for that match will be Doug Delicious. Julio De Niro with a flying forearm to the back of the head, kind of caught Doug not looking. There he goes, big forearm to the face.
He calls that the Tito Bomber. Get that right, Jeff Jones.
Well, they're called straight right hands is what Julio De Niro, with a backside kick.
I don't care what you say. That was a stiff kick right to the jaw of Doug Delicious.
Hey, Julio De Niro doesn't claim to be light by any means. He'll lay it into you if he's got to do what he's got to do to win the match.
And I think Doug Delicious rolled out of the ring right there because that could have been curtains.
Doug Delicious taking his time, and Julio brings him in the hard way. Referee Paul Turner was counting him. and Julio decided to get the action hot and heavy.
Now, see, that wasn't fair, Jeff Jones. Doug Delicious was merely getting up there trying to get his footing on the apron, and Julio pulled him into the ring when he wasn't ready.
I'm glad that's how you saw it, Earl, but I saw it as Doug Delicious was running from the Hot Commodity. Hot Commodity reverses Delicious. I tell you, Earl, this action here on Rage TV just sometimes gets me so confused, I don't know what I'm saying.
Wow, I've never seen that before. A tremendous move by Julio De Niro.
And the neck breaker by the Hot Commodity. He goes for the cover.
Come on, Doug.
2.
Doug's got to do something right now to break this momentum, or he's going to be taking it home early.
Hey, look, Doug Delicious hasn't exactly won the most matches here in Maryland Championship Wrestling. But I'll tell you what, Doug Delicious has looked pretty darn impressive in there with the King, Jerry Lawler, York and Matthews, 2 guys you know a lot about. You know the guys that beat you and Rich for the MCW Tag Team Championship.
Right, the cheaters.
And even the Grandmaster Brian Christopher. Doug has not come out on the winning end. However, like I said, he's looked good. Doug shined a lot in those matches.
Absolutely. Doug Delicious will take it to you just like he's doing to Julio right now, but Julio cuts him off.
Julio with the crunching leg sweep, saying that's it.
Julio has so many moves in his repertoire, and we just saw one of them right there.
Julio going up. He likes to use that acai standing moonsault. And he catches Doug Delicious. 1, 2. That's one thing about Julio, though. Julio, instead of using an effective move, sometimes likes to use a move that's pretty instead of effective. And see, he paid for it right there with Doug Delicious gaining the upper hand, but Julio takes back over.
I think, in my expert opinion, Doug Delicious has to start cheating right now.
There we go, Doug Delicious with an impressive hot shot, shades of it, the late hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, and a clothesline to follow it up. Doug Delicious building a little momentum here on Rage TV, putting the boots to the former Rage TV champion.
There you go, Doug. That's what you need to do. Choke him, rake his eyes, go out and get a chair and smack him upside the head. Do what you got to do to get that big W.
Earl, you actually condone those kinds of actions?
Absolutely,
Wouldn't
Jeff.
you rather go out there and just win the match on your own merit and ability?
Own merit and ability? What are you talking about? This is professional wrestling. You get the job done any way you can.
Doug Delicious wasting time.
He's definitely showing Marcus he can pose with the best of them.
There we go, Doug Delicious, big impressive elbow. But it's not enough to put away Julio, the former Rage TV champion. And he goes back to that choke. Paul Turner calling for the break. Doug's got till 5 to do it.
That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, Doug Delicious jaw-jacking with Alexis LaRue.
Now see, this is a mistake. Come on, Doug.
Doug tried to hold on to that rope.
Don't worry about Alexis LaRue.
Duck the clothesline. There goes Julio. He ducks Julio's, and a big super kick from Doug Delicious.
I think that was a receipt from earlier. Oh, he almost had him.
Doug Delicious complaining that this should have been the 3 count, that he should have had the Hot Commodity. Doug Delicious picks him up, and a big scoop Michinoku driver. I thought he was going for the scoop slam.
See, he made a mistake. He should have went for the cover right there. Still posing. Doug, I know you want to join the modeling agency, but you need to worry about Julio De Niro right now.
Doug Delicious could have quite possibly had the win with that Michinoku driver, but he's going to the top. He likes to use his swan dive headbutt, but Earl, to be honest, I've never seen him hit it.
And he's not going to hit it tonight either, as Julio rolled out of the way. Doug Delicious wasted too much time.
Doug Delicious 0-55 on hitting that top rope headbutt. And he's paying for it now. Hot Commodity making his way back up. Both guys are down on the cell. But looks like the Hot Commodity's got a little bit more. Oh, he's got it with the big full Nelson slam. 1, 2, and 3.
Wow. Big win for Julio De Niro.
Doug Delicious once again looked good, but he wasted time and he paid for it. We'll be right back on Rage TV.
And I went in the back. I talked to Dan, and I was like, Dan, you know, how was that? He was like, great. You're coming tomorrow. I'll be there. Went to, I think it was up in Pennsylvania the next night, and I was working with Jerry Lawler the next night. So it was more. It was one of those things where Danny, I think he saw potential in me, and he just wanted to throw me to the wolves, and just see how I would respond.
And a straight right hand. Out, a stunner! Stunner by the King!
And now the King is signaling. I hope he's not going to do what I think he's going to do.
Drops the fist right across the head of Doug Delicious. And I can't believe the King with a stunner. Unbelievable. Straight right hands by the King. Just wearing out Doug Delicious. It's obvious. Lawler's mad. He's got to win that title. Is he going to walk away tonight? and another right hand, and he missed that one.
Doug Delicious showing me a lot. I mean, I am really impressed with this youngster from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Doug Delicious plants him right in the center of the ring, and he's very proud of himself. Doug Delicious, though, he's wasting too much time.
He needs to stay on top of Lawler. He's strutting, he's styling and profiling. But I guess that when that's your attitude, when you're that cocky, I guess you just can't change.
And Doug Delicious is gonna fly, and he misses a swan dive headbutt. And the King is getting back up to his feet. That may have been the break that the King needed.
What a seesaw battle we've got right here. No.
Can the King have him? Can he put him away? He just told him bye-bye. Kicks to the stomach. It's going to be the pile driver. He's got him up and down. Lawler with the pile driver. He's beating everybody that way, and he beats Doug Delicious just the same.
Nobody gets up from a King driver.
Boy, you went from super, super fast to a little bit more relaxed pace.
Exactly. And the thing is, like we were talking about before, that's how you learn. You have to work different guys, and you know what I mean. You have to work different styles, and you go with working somebody like a Keenan Creed that was there. I wrestled him a lot when I was there, and he's a go type guy. And then the next night I might be working, like a Jerry Lawler or a Brian Christopher.
Right.
And two total different styles.
But I'll tell you, once in a while, I lose a little bit. I just saw a man's underpants. And
It's all a little more than underpants.
It was interesting, to say the least.
Obviously, that D and D Edwards stands for ding ding. We just saw it.
Whoa.
Let's censor that one.
You would know, Tim. You would know.
Hey, I just go by what I see, brother. And 6A tries for, I guess, a drop kick there in the corner. Ends up crotching himself on the second rope.
Well, I'll tell you what, all that showboating just got himself the second turnbuckle to the groin area, and that never feels good.
No, it never does.
And now Delicious right on top of him, trying to land himself a spot in the World Modeling Agency.
This would definitely impress Miss Vanessa, I'm sure, as well as Marquise Jordan. And it would impress me as well if he can get by Grandmaster 6A here in Paw Paw, West Virginia.
Well, I'm pretty confident that
And he strikes a pose there.
I'm pretty confident if he defeats Grandmaster 6A, he's going to have a job in the World Modeling Agency. I can almost guarantee you, and that was a slow count.
No,
Otherwise, Delicious is a member.
And that's how you mature, and that's how you grow, and that's how you get better. And I think with him just feeding me to the wolves, I mean, every time I was there, it was something he was springing this on me. And then we started getting into promos. And I had some really good promos down there when I was doing a gimmick with Marcus Ham as the Supermodels. We were doing a tag team gimmick, and I was trying to get into the Supermodels, and every week I tried to prove myself. And I always end up on the short end of the stick until finally, I won the big match and then became a supermodel. But I mean, I like to thank Dan. I pay all my respect to Dan. It was Dan, Mark Schrader.
Yep.
And Jeff Jones. I mean, those guys really helped me out a lot, and they allowed me to go down to the school and train. And I was down there whenever we weren't running MCW, and I didn't have any other shows. I was down there first thing in the morning on Saturdays working out with. I would work out with Keenan because he was always at the gym.
Right.
And I was like, what a better guy to work with because I'm a big guy. What a good guy to get in there and work with because he can give me a good workout, and I can work on working his style. Because at that time, you got to remember too, that was the ECW style. Everybody was kind of, the gears were turning towards where we're at now.
Right.
The more the go, less walking and talking.
Exactly.
And more of a fast pace type of style match.
And if memory serves me correct, that would have been the very first incarnation too in that time period of MCW's Rage TV.
Yeah.
What was your experience? Because that was a whole nother vein. You got a little bit with the Savoldis, but now you're talking about moving into that internet television realm. What's your experiences there?
Well, I mean, with the whole TV, like I say, the TV, there was a difference there. Like the TV working with the Savoldis was, was basically going out and being like an enhancement guy, making the other guys look good. Here, Danny and them were actually putting me on a platform,
right,
for me to get some exposure and actually just to show people what I got and see how I would respond. And, you know, there again, right out of the gate, you know, I was working guys like Julio De Niro, Joey Matthews, and, you know, he threw Buff Bagwell in there. I did some stuff with Buff. So that was another good experience for me because, you know, being, you know, it's one thing to go out and be an enhancement guy, but when someone is actually giving you the ball and be like, listen, you know, we're going to put you on TV, we're going to start grooming you for this position, you know, it's a big step, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm grateful that they gave me that opportunity to do that.
Well, if memory serves me correct, and I'm reaching back, this is almost 17 years ago. They eventually put you over for the Mid-Atlantic title and the Rage TV title at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, what we did, we ended up doing a triple threat. I ended up working Joey Matthews and ended up winning the Rage TV title from him. And then we came back and they were merging the belts. And I ended up working a triple threat match with Marcus Hayne and Bob Starr, and ended up winning both titles.
Both titles. I want you to take a look at this photograph. That is the night that you won those belts. You have both of them here. Quite interesting to look back and think about those pictures.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of good times, and you know, I look back on all my matches, and you know, this is definitely one of the more prouder moments that I've had in my career because it was basically, you know, Danny and them saying, "Hey, listen, we believe in you. We're going to give you the ball and let you roll with it." And you know, I've always been very grateful for that.